or what surfaces can be cleaned and what's the cleaning process if that's available?
Yeah, so really whenever we talk about cleaning, it's going to be limited to your hard non-porous surfaces that are not an organic material. So this is going to be stuff like your plastics, your metals, glass. Any of those are going to be surfaces where they can have mold on them, but whenever they do, it's mold that's growing on the dust that is accumulated on the surface, not growing onto the material itself. Because again, they need that organic material as its food source. So if it's a wood surface or drywall where it's got like paper, it's going to actually be building or be growing through the surface. So that definitely needs to go. But like a lot of times in bathrooms, there's more tile surfaces or plastic surfaces that can be cleaned rather than removed.
And what do you use to clean mold? And just remind everybody who might not be aware about the fact that bleach is not the thing to use. Bleach products really are just literally bleaching, changing the colour of the mold on the surface and not dealing with the underlying roots of the mold.
When bleach kills mold, basically it's essentially a 1-to-1 ratio. The bleach's energy is consumed by the process of killing mold. What you're left over with is a whole bunch of water. And that's deeply problematic because now you've basically just fed whatever is remaining after you've applied the bleach. So it doesn't do a very effective job at actually killing mold. And you're 100% right. It basically changes the color, which can help make you think that it's gone, but is not necessarily addressing the underlying issue. Whenever it comes to what is actually used to clean, there's a variety of different products. Really, any type of cleaning should consist of a minimum of 2 steps. And this is where, unfortunately, a lot of the marketing has really gone way too far and sort of oversold. And there are even a lot of companies, especially where we're at, that utilize a spray and pray method of mold remediation, where basically they coat it in some sort of antimicrobial or disinfectant and then call it good. And that's definitely not what a proper remediation should look like. That's basically the analogy we always use is imagine you cooked yourself a big breakfast, you had bacon, eggs, all that kind of stuff. You're going to make a bit of a mess in the kitchen. There's going to be some grease on the counter, there's going to be crumbs, and just using a product, just using an antimicrobial or a disinfectant is the equivalent of saying that you're going to clean the kitchen by spraying a bunch of Lysol on it and then walking away. We know that's not doing what it actually needs to do. So anytime we're talking about cleaning, it needs to involve a removal of the biofilm that's built up. So basically full removal of anything that's built up on the surface. And that can be done through a variety of different basic cleaner for the most part. Certain surfaces are going to need some greater cleaning ability or ability to break down grease and things like that so they can actually come clean. But really we're talking about just water and soap to get it clean and remove that biofilm. And then once that biofilm has been removed and the surface is clean of any dust and any buildup, that's whenever it's about applying an actual disinfectant to make sure that anything that could be lingering is completely killed and not going to be a problem going forward. So for that, there's a variety of different products on the market. One of the ones that we utilize a lot is a product from a company called Benefect. It's a product called Decon 30. It is very much a balance between effectiveness and safety. Finding where on that continuum we need to be based on the individual situation. So we try to be as far down the safety road as we can with it still being effective. Because unfortunately there's a variety of products that you potentially could use that may be very, very safe, but they're not going to be as effective as they should. We also utilize hypochlorous acid, which is something that is great because we're able to produce it on site. The ingredients in it are vinegar, water, and salt. It basically has electrodes inside the machine that change the way the molecules are bonded together. So instead of it just being that mixture of water, salt, and vinegar, it creates hypochlorous acid, which is a chemical compound. It's the same thing that our white blood cells create to fight off infection. It's an extremely potent disinfectant while having an excellent safety profile. So that's something that we definitely utilize because it's got a wide variety of application for our business. So.
What about Concrobium? Do you have that over there?
So we do have it in the States in general. I'm familiar with it. To be honest, we have not used it. I think it's probably an effective product. Where I do get a little bit cautious with that is some of the ways that I've seen it marketed or recommended does very much go down that kind of spray and pray, just put it in a fogger and apply it and then you'll be good.
Yeah.
And that always sends my spidey senses tingling.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily love to see that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've certainly used it myself, and the product that I have, you do spray it on, but then you do have to scrub it off.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, really what you're saying is there's got to be some elbow grease, either machine elbow grease or human elbow grease to actually remove the problem.
Yeah, you're not gonna, it's never gonna be a situation where you can just throw it into a ULV fogger and just spray it and then, okay, great, we're done.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it worked that way, but that's just not reality. But the disinfectant at the end of the day, I always like to think of it, it's almost the least important part of the process, because that's really just there to capture everything that we couldn't physically remove.
Yep.
And if we're leaning on that and we're relying on that, it means we did not do a great job with the rest of the processes that are there.